man. Ugh, I could watch that again.
거부할 수 없는 이 느낌 Oh baby Got in my purse 내게 집중한 순간 더 깊이 You keep
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are here with YEJI's track entitled Air. Oh man, I'm really excited for this. This is technically my first ITZY affiliated comeback that I've had the privilege of being able to dive into. Oh, this is gonna be really fun. I'm excited. I hope you are. Let's go. Wasn't that nice? I like the filter on the camera too. I love that. I like the visual of all this. Yeah. Her nails are fire. Come on, hair. Yes. 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 Such a freaking earworm. Yes. This is giving it's like an 80s, yes ma'am, to that. Oh, what does this remind me of? Please hold. Okay, it reminds me, so in my brain, my brain was like, so much. It's in like in a fantastic way. Firstly, I love this nuance to 80s, 90s that we're experiencing with a lot of K-pop and a lot of global groups, because it just feels so... I don't know. I feel like the revisit's a really good way to do a refresh. You know what I mean? Because I've always wanted to appreciate 80s and 90s music the way that so many people do. And this can be a fantastic bridge to get people to be engaged with music that has been influential to music like this. Do you know what I mean? Even the filters were very fascinating to this. I think the kind of girl empowerment reminds me of like that Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar. You see what I mean? But also her, not the pose, but the color palette is giving a sense of like that Michael Jackson album cover. Like, come on. Do you see what I mean? It gives like that kind of iconicness where he's just kind of resting back, you know? Live your life, MJ, right? Rest in power, but sorry. But yeah, this is such a this is a freaking look, girl. And I love the fact that we started out the music video in this position. I love that. Like, for me, I'm like, okay, we're here for it. And then we're there right here. Guys, like, this is a really, really dope track. And this also means we're probably getting a dance practice, which makes me excited. Do I see them do a performance version? I could see them pulling one of those out for this. Because of the locations, the dancers, it's so cool. Like, I really love some of the choices on this. Not only that, it felt like this beginning was so nuanced in the cinematic modification or manipulation on editing, right? Where like some of the timings were different. It felt like we could have pulled a reverse of some of these choices and we wouldn't have been able to hold on to it. Does that make sense? Like, all that was great. We love that. But it's like some of these shots were so, like, how we were holding for an extended period of time, it just felt so intentional, but so nuanced at the same time. I'm just quite fascinated at this music video. This is a fantastic solo. Such a good solo debut. Now, what I also love is that YEJI is such an advocate for the group. She's like, I refuse to go solo. I know there have been conversations between JYP and her and Ryujin, right? About that. I understand, like, JYP's like, look, groups that have solo members tend to, it is helpful, right? And so I love the fact that we've chosen to do this. And I personally come from the lens, and I know many people will agree, just because she does a solo track like this does not mean that she is, like, I'm not going to pull a solo stand on this. She's never really had the mindset of being outside of ITZY. And I think that's what's going to happen. Now, can that be a situation where we are looking at a potential renewal of contract for ITZY? Because I know that's coming up pretty soon. I would say yes. I think so far, based on what I've noticed in their discography, how they've interacted with each other, the connection that they have to themselves, as well as, you know, these types of activities that we're seeing, I personally think I could see them renew for sure. And it's an all or nothing is what it feels like in essence, especially on the YEJI part, right? But this makes me really excited for the dance visual. I can't wait. It's gonna be great. Dance practice is up and I am here for it. Let's go. Nice. Yep. Such interesting angles she's letting her torso explore. Love that part. Nice. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ooh. Oh, we're here for that. Good levels. So fun. range on dancers look great. Beautiful. Hey! Yep. Better strut it. Yep. Yep. Yes. Oh, travel it. Travel it. Yes. That's it. Nice. Walk it. So fun. Ugh, I could watch that again. And we're about to analyze it. Let's go. Right here from the jump. Love that everybody's frozen. Great commitment to character and everyone's making their own choices, which is really nice. I love the subtlety of just the arm drop from YEJI, causing everyone to drop to the ground. Everyone is looking down except for her. Really fun. Then we end up speed changing, letting our arms be a priority with it as well as our head. And then we all boom, look to our respective outsides. She takes her arm boom, up, nice to the side, and then she does a slow walk, and then you hear on the piano, boom, boom, really fun choices there where they're leaning in and then they're leaning out. An accent, so then you have her own little moment. I mean, this is her solo, so of course we're gonna get a lot of solo feature moments coming from her. We love it. So she has, you have this little heartbeat pulse happening in the back, that boom, boom, boom. So a lot of movements that are kind of referencing that would make sense here, right? So I like the accents on that as she travels it over to the side. Then we rotate it around to get it accented to the back, and I like how she ends up covering her mouth area. And then we open it up, the rotation all the way down to a drop of the hinge, and then she has a break in her elbows for that, which is nice, and everybody slowly travels up into a V, and then you have her, instead of being the accent point to complete the V, she's actually turning it into a very aggressive like baby W in the middle, but really long on the outside wings, which is nice. So I like that she's on the inside, your head's nice, and then we are pulsing, so we are taking a movement and we are slowly speed changing. We're creating a nice choice, leaning the body towards that stage right side, having a pulse going on with the heel of the right foot, which is really fun. And then they all have, when she's talking about air, think about breath, right? So hearing her breath in the track actually feels complementary to a lot of what she's referencing whenever you're talking about da-da-da, air, taking my air, right? Like you're taking my breath away, you know, it's really nice. And I mean, it's not good to, you know, die of not having breath, but I'm just saying I like the imagery that you're seeing in the movement as well as just the wordplay. I think is really fun. So I like that they're breathing up, and you see this pull of the chest a lot of times whenever you think of like adding breath to movement. You want to add breath of the arm, we call it allongé, and the ballet side of the world. And then you have in the chest, you could pull it from the sternum to really give that impression as well. Really fun. And so I like they lean it over, and they end up doing like a chest and hip rotation around in order to make it rest in a fun way. Yeah, so you have the chest go from that stage right to stage left side, and then they end up resting and leaning the weight into their right side, inverting that leg. Really cool. And then from there, we go into a really interesting formation change from that little W into this. Was really clean, clear, and not predictable. I enjoyed that. So you have 4 of your dancers facing inside a YEJI, so she is still your feature there. And then you have 2 on each outside making a line. Love that. And then they end up sliding the arms up to create a nice level difference between what's going on with YEJI and the rest of the dancers. They're placing the arms up, giving a little angsty look to the buildup of the track is really cool. And they end up doing a little switch off, not really a full monastery or chicken head, not in a groove, but definitely on the feminine equivalence of it if you were to equate it to a fundamental, which is cool. And then they end up placing the weight onto that hand, and then they're going to travel it. I keep trying to adjust the volume so I can hear it, but also not be too loud. And then I like the little snap sound. You hear them snap the head over to the side, which is really cool. And then they're going to subtly shift the weight to bend the knees to create more fullness or more flow in the full body interaction of this movement as they're going and presenting the arms to the side, which is cool. And I like the fact that it is unison. It's really nice, and also them transitioning into this formation from where they were Once again, very quick, very crisp, very readable, and doesn't take away, and it's not distracting whatsoever. It kind of, you forget that they even transition, which shows you the overall content's very intriguing in the transition itself. It's not just a transition. There's so much more to it, which is cool. Then I like the melts. Once again, you have them in more of a clump, and then you have them go into more like a horseshoe kind of style with a couple outliers in the back. I like the melts of the body with the arm to help match it. Is really nice. She turns out of it. They go little turn, 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 turn. Come on now with the fold up. And they melt. Whoom, come on. Air, air, air. Taking my air. I love this right here. So I know, at least in my neck of the woods, there's a track by Tate McRae that just came out. I think it's called Revolving Doors. And it's a heel. She's doing heels. And it's like a stiletto, and she's holding a position very similar to that, and then she's grabbing the leg so much higher, and then she ends up rotating that leg through to do a bridge with a développé of the leg. Very fascinating, and it's such a challenge, and I will not be doing that because my flexibility left me back in 2015. So I can appreciate those who do take on the challenge nonetheless. But I really like the control here. I can appreciate it because I've been seeing it happen with other artists, and I just think it's cool. It's fun. And so I love the kind of anticlimactic tension that's being built on this. I think it's really fun, right? And then you have two of the dancers be molded or like pressed up with the chest. Once again, chest is going to be such a utilization in the choreo that I've noticed here because of just taking air. The context of air is taking the breath out of your lungs, the air, right? So there's going to be a lot of this involved, as it should be. It's a really good, there's so many things you can do with your chest, right? I love it. So anyway, so I like the pulls happening from our dancers. I like the meltdown is also cool. If you want to add some subtle head ISO into that, you can notice that with some of our dancers here, which is really nice. And I like the little trace around, which I'm here for. They end up, boom, presenting with the head over to the side, and the grab of the arm is really nice. Then we have some tension, boom, boom. I love that. And then we end up boom, boom, boom. It is syncopated, but it is so subtle in the interaction. It's so cool. I love how we knock it over to the side, having the arm nice and clean. If you're going to cover this as a group, recommendation is work on angles and make sure your angles are in check, especially if you do the public ones, because this is so captivating, not just because of the posture of it, but because of the simplicity in how it's presented. It's not simple to get everybody on the same page like this, so that's just what I would recommend, is be very mindful of the angles that you are going for on this. Cool. And I like the walk out, and I love the mirroring and the transition. What I mean by that is you have all of your dancers. This is the beauty of having even number dancers for a soloist, is because she's always going to be your point in the middle. So I really like how these two specifically were able to walk to their spot and get there at the same time. It's really nice, and it does help promote balance the entire time in a transition in comparison to just moving to a new spot. It feels like there's purpose and intention to it. I love it. It's providing depth. Now we're providing more of a circle kind of formation with a little bit more of the accent points to the outside with each respective dancer, which I really like. It's cool. So it's the same thing. Everybody's just facing different directions. So this is actually pretty great for an arena style in that center box stage. If you see like the concert stage and then they have a little catwalk into a box one. I know it just depends on the artist and depends on the stadium or arena, whatever, right? So this would be a perfect choreo to do in that middle section. I love it. It's cool. So they come on with the melt, so we hit it, nice little snake down, and then we accent with the chest. It's like she's da-da-da, air, and she's like, air, and she's going for the move. It's really fun. And it's like I said in the initial watch, it really feels like she's taking some fantastic exploration choices of her torso. Just the fact that she's like, I'm gonna hold this for 4 counts even though I'm holding a note. Okay, ma'am, slay. You know, I love it. And they end up snapping it. I like this little accent happening with the chest once again, and they're using that to get up. Really cool. And then we hinge it to the back with our arms placed. I think it looks like we're scooping, right? So I love that choice. Really cool. And then we melt it up with the shoulders to reset, and we end up bringing it down, or just rehinging back, and then we take our arms up and down, nice little snap to make it really sharp, very staccato, and then we're folding in our arms, D, so we're matching her syllables, which is nice. So it goes in, out, up, then my, and it goes my. So it's just another way of, you know, when you're, I can't breathe, strangulation, right? Or whenever we're touching on the neck, it's we're resisting of some kind your airway. So that also makes sense. The chest and the, you know, the what is it? Oh my gosh, the neck. Why can't I think today? So sorry. So the lift is nice. That air, and I like the lean over to the side is cool. And the head is also fun. All my air, and I like that we go from one side to the other. Notice that we're switching the weight so we can have a subtle twist of the leg so it feels more interactive full body in comparison to over isolated. It's little things like that that can make it not come across so separated, which in routines like this you are susceptible to it if you're not mindful of where you're isolating and where you want your weight to go. So that was really cool. I like the arms on this over this part. I love it every time we see it. We fold, da-da, and we separate the upper body from the arms as a subtle fixed point, and we make it match how she says it. It's really nice with the lean out with the legs. So cool. And we accent it down. Come on now. And then we go flat hand, and then we end up having the palms face up as we get it towards the hips. That subtle difference between here and here tells a different story, right? Love it. And she does a little hip swivel around, which is super cute. I love that. Air, 2, 3, 4. We saw her do that in the music video. I love that it's a part of the actual course choreography. This is such a nice, elegant, sharp, accented just course. I really like this. I think a lot of people are going to look really good doing it. YEJI and all the dancers do, but also it can be a little bit tricky to get right though, because of like what we're talking about. A lot of people will be susceptible to over isolating where your weight goes in the lower body versus the upper body, right? But it's not going to be as restrictive in your breathing unless you're holding your breath while dancing, and that's just an ism dancers do sometimes. So that's my little tidbit there. I like that she does a little wrist rotation coming out of it. It's also really nice, like this pull. You see some of our dancers pull with that chest first and then the head be secondary. Then you have the step, step, step to match that pulse that we were seeing near the beginning. It's just repackaged where your weight is accenting in a different way. It's cool. And I like the subtlety of these pivots and the different directions you have your dancers do. It looks like we have our back and front lines going in opposition of YEJI, and YEJI has a line of her own that also matches. So you have an even number of dancers contributing to either direction. So whatever choice she makes feels right because it is, and she's center, so she can do honestly whatever she wants. She can roll on the floor and we would be like, yes, slay, love it. And then we go in and out, out. I will tell you, just the angles of this dance with the dancers is so well done. The dancers really did a great job on keeping range, meaning how they're getting from A to B of an angle. This was clean, not just these timing choices of the angle that they're doing. I really love it. Like, look at that. That's so fun. So fold in, and then they present the arms. Notice the thumbs have become an accent point to that, and then we lift it up. So the thumbs we were already kind of see, and so seeing them there, it's subtle, but we can pick up on it. And I like the lean back and the upper back. Thank you for that. And then we drop the arms down the straight legs. She keeps her body up. She looks over to the side with her arms folded over. Come on now. Then I love this. We hit boom with the head. Come on. We step out, and I like the dancers all have a little subtle ISO going on with the chest too to make that a bigger lean to help with the leg extended out. Really cool. So lift up is fun. So I like the poses happening on our stage right side, and then YEJI is controlling or pushing the energy of our stage left dancers. I love that so much. Her turn of angst. We love it. And then we have tension on the buildup of the arms. We also have black hair YEJI, which is kind of a vibe. She's freaking cool. She rocks orange hair. She really does. But I really do really like this black hair that she's pulling. I like the snap as we go off stage. Come on now with the walk from all of our other ladies into a diagonal. We love it, and they complete it. So honestly, wherever YEJI goes, that's kind of up to the dancers to be very mindful of, okay, most likely this dancer here, her job is to, okay, no matter where YEJI is in the circumstance, she's got to make sure that she starts this diagonal because all these other dancers are relying upon her to be in her spot. So it completes the line, so YEJI's a part of it, right? So I love that. So cool. Anyway, I love that choice. We go down, up. I like the hands being presented. The melts are nice. I love her choice. Up is nice. So we have our moment. Our poses are great. I like that we have some of our dancers with their arms more midline, some a little bit more up, so it provides different varieties of angles, and it feels like we're taking up more space in the space, which is really cool. Dancers are walking professionally on the side. I appreciate that. I mean, I do love me a good cutting up on the side, but for a concept like this, that kind of stoic presentation in our transition, even on the being off stage, I value and I appreciate so much. So it's cool. So the melts are nice. So I like how she accents it up. It's really fun. She does a good job on having these accents with these subtleties going from hips and chest. Now, as a side note, this will probably go out way before most of my ITZY analysis. I have marathoned ITZY and units alike, their entire discography and movement quality, so I'm very familiar with how YEJI moves. I know on YouTube it doesn't look that way, but go to Patreon, I got lots and lots of receipts. So I've really enjoyed seeing her growth. Not only that, the arms do not surprise me at all, that she knows how to position them, and make them practical to how she's involving her torso in the mix. Because when you look at her rookie era side of things, you notice a lot of the hand choices are syncopated that also complement with hips. So honestly, I like the fact that we're engaging more in the chest on this in comparison to hips, because I think she's more comfortable going hips, but the chest makes more sense to the type of concept this is. All that to say, we're here for it. I love to see growth, and I love seeing the fact that this is a solo debut. Like, she freaking rocks it. I really hope to see more solos come out of ITZY, but I love the fact that they're all Team ITZY through and through first. I love it. It's so cool. It's gonna be so cool to see. They present the arm, da-doom, da-doom. We love that, going into a little column presentation, right? Now, doesn't it give a little soiree similar to Chungha? I mean, that complementary. So could there be an overlap in choreographers? Potentially. I don't really know who was on this. I know somebody will probably find out and tell me, which I really appreciate if you were able to. But it does give me some nuance to the actual structure of dancers in the arms to some of Chungha's works as well. So that's just my little tidbit there, and I mean that very complimentary. I think it works so well. It's cool. Arms are nice. I love the slow walks on this. Good for the ladies here of keeping this super, super stable. So their walks across, like, that can really influence the entire look if they're not mindful of it. But I love that we have so many different choices happening, but then we have a little bit of structure covering YEJI, and then she's still living it up in center. It's so cool. I like that we broke away from center in the second verse. It allowed us to appreciate when she came back to it. You know what I mean? The walks are nice. There's your two structured columns on either side. Then we end up doing very similar movement to what we saw before, different formation, so it feels like a repackage, right? Come on now. Oh, I love that we had everybody do the same arms. Everybody intentionally do different arms where they're angled more towards the inside. She takes her arms and presents them up. Come on now. And then I like how they all accent down to the side of the head, and then we, boom, knock it up. Come on now. And then we melt, boom, with a snap. We love it. And then we do a little, what is it? Just a shampoo behind the head. And then we continue to have our arms out. And then it looks like we were doing, what is it? Like an overhead, like something along those lines. Some whacking here. Hold on. No, it's just positioning here. I would see more, hand performance is what this gives me. Just this super nuance, not even like the full style, but that's like little instances of the stylization of getting into the position feels very intentional. I love that. And then you have YEJI, of course, in center. Good for the dancers for their spacing of their legs. Like, that's so fun. Love it. Love it. And then she ends up turning out of it. Love that. Dancers also snap. Boom. Accent with the head is drop low to match what we were doing in the very beginning, that sound. They're pulling up, so it feels like we're building, we're getting more air. If you've ever seen something that was deflated, get air again. That movement makes a lot of sense dynamically, once again, to the context of air, to what we know of it. It's cool. Nice. And we snap, boom, with a walk, walk, walk. And I like that we let the shoulder, boom, get the arm up versus to throw the arm up. It feels more invested here. And that's what shows more power, and it also makes it really fun and texturized. It's great. And I like the air, and everyone's involved. Look how clear this is. Of course, if my dancer scooted up just a smidge, but it's so minimal. I love how clean this looks. Oh, it's so, put it on a t-shirt. Good God, this is awesome. I love that. The snap, boom, and then they end up knocking on that ch sound. They knock the elbow to the side to hit it. So we have our moment, and boom, this doesn't take away from this polyrhythm, which is what it is. That we're accenting as we're coming back up. Oh, come on. And we hit it, boom, boom, with a lean back. We love it. And then we pull with some tension. Yep, from one side. And then we go boom, boom, boom. Interruptions to hear that bass. And then we hit, out. Come on now. And then she presents it to the front. And she goes, do-do-do. What? I love it. I love it. Come on, let's appreciate that again. Yep. Yeah, she goes da-da-dum or ba-da-dum with the chest. Oh my God, such a fun, risky way to do that with everybody in unison. That can look so off, but they did great. And then he goes, my prayers. She's going to send it back in a hinge like that for prayers. Lord help us. And good for the dancers on that too. You can wear your back out if you're not mindful of where you're hinging from. So cases like this, a lot of times people are going to consolidate in their lower back. It is not recommended to do that because your lumbar, which is the lower part of your back, is meant for stability, not mobility. The thoracic, which is the upper part of the back, is way more recommended to do moves like that with. So that's just a little thing to be mindful of that I'm curious in the dance behind the scenes. I know that's going to happen. That'll be on Patreon. Of just diving into, do they feel back pain doing some of these choices, or is it something that their bodies have been trained to engage in it to where it's going to help them last a lot longer as movers in those spaces of range? Because I do have dancers that have some chronic back pain now because they were brought up not under a proper acro curriculum and their bodies were suffering for it. I was in a student of not a proper acro curriculum, so I can attest empathetically to what happens if you are not given a heat of caution to being mindful of those areas. So I empathize with it. That's why I'm always sensitive to it. So all that to say, this looks awesome. I'm hopeful that they're able to do it for a long time is my point. So link out is nice. They go hit, boom, do-doom. Notice they have a little interruption, do-doom, in the shoulders. Let's actually think what is going on fundamentally there. Yeah, so it looks like she's using, if we're going to actually give a muscle group that can be helpful to give that crisp look, unified, I would go for the biceps on that. Even though you could pull triceps, you can think both, but the bicep is going to allow the fullness to show up here a little bit better because that's where your bicep is, right? But the tricep's going to help with actual, like if you're coming up, I think the triceps more helpful, but if you're going down, bicep would be a really cool way to show that accent. I wonder if they touch on those little things. They normally don't, but I think it's fun to kind of troubleshoot, right? And the subtle directions on that too look cool. The kickball change, and then we have our arms. Look where the arm is. It's all intentionally placed on the chest with our other arm stylized down with a point. Come on. And they say, no, and she does it more to the front. Come on now. And then we have a slow lift with our arms matching her syllables. Come on now. Air, same as before. Air, swim, arms around. And look at the levels. I love it. It's so complimentary to, you don't need to change the choreo if you're going to get levels involved, or if it's just interesting enough with making your brain have to digest it multiple times. You don't have to do too much to it. I love it. It's cool. And even here, you have your dancers lean over to the side so you can still see that illusion with them despite the levels. It's great. And they, boom, accent back. And I love her little scoop with her hips, and that's going to help us focus on her as your dancers transition. Now, there's your air. Again, good windows, having her in between the two lines. If you're like, oh my God, where's YEJI in this formation? She's really close to these dancers. She is, but she's not in either line. She's in the middle, in between, which is what gives her the ability to be closer to them, but she still has the range to do what she wants to do. So that's where you get that overlap from if you're curious about that. It's cool. But the dancers are all in a designated line. Well, you have two lines. So the taps are up, which is nice. Or sorry, as they're getting up, looks really cool. I love this subtle interaction with all of our dancers looking at each other with this little lean of the weight. Looks super cool. And then we go into a V. Now this one, she's not accenting in the back of it like that little W. She's now in the front of it, and this is where we give them a golden sticker for their freaking arms. The practice to get their angles crisp like that, oh my God, must be insane, the tediousness of that. Okay, look at the tension, the speed change on it. She has her moment here. She frames it around, accents to the knee. She comes up. I love that we had two dancers low with her, and then we're all connected, and then we accent. There's your guitar moment. Nice little ripple, and then we all get on the same page to get those arms looking the same coming out of it. And we go, then we create, now it's two different circles. You have an inner circle and outer circle, but they are accenting in corners. God, it's so cool. And then notice like guys, something as subtle as your arms all being the same, shoulder level, guys. Oh my gosh, you'd be so surprised at how many times this is hard to clean. Lord, come on. I love this. And then look at the upper back and the hinge. I love what she looks up to. And they drop down. They're not looking at the ground, so they got to trust the floor is there. And if you're not properly prepared to drop down, you can hurt your elbows because you're going to put and slam a lot of weight unnecessarily on them. So there's a lot of practice and mental practice to get those dancers to go, okay, I'm going to drop and I can't overly bend the elbow or it ruins the look that we want. It's so many little things psychologically you have to navigate through on this. I love it. And she folds the arms in to get the dancers to slowly go down, and then they flick those arms back, they hinge, and boom, with the hair to come up, and then they hair rotate to the front, come on with the V with the 2 accent points, and they pull and pull. Ooh, hit and hit and hit. Love that. And then there's your air. Everybody else's legs are out. Hers are together. Love it. And then we're getting ready. We're tossing it. This is our last moment. We're unhinged. We're ready. You're taking my air. We can't handle it anymore. We're walking because we can. I just love the walk to get to our next spot because we're being considerate of tempo. And we hadn't really done just a walk like that to make a point. It's cool. And then we end up scooping to a respective outside. YEJI chooses a side. She could have pulled center, but I don't mind her committing to that stage right side. And then we end up going out in, rotating the arms, and then we have a connection of the V happening, and it is pretty deep because I'm actually kind of we'll go pyramid because you have it filled in the back. But I really like the connection on this. Of course, spacing, we could have her scoot literally like not even a full foot over. It's wild. I love that. And she's in the center. Looks great. And then I like how we hit it. Boom. Boom. And we accent with the arms. It's catered quite well to a lot of these porter bras, so arm carriage, as we see those expanded. God, so beautiful. And then we hit it down. I love that. And we slowly melt up, which is fun. Oh, what does she do with her arms? Come on now. And then I like how she gets them back up. Now the dancers are coming up from the side versus their back. And so the spine's going to read it and feel a little different because you're actually pulling from the hip and the chest more so than the spine and the back, right? I love that. We rotate and click, click. I like the throws. And there's your speed change. Everyone's making their own choices, which reminds you of the very beginning. So it feels like we're bookending this now, right? Cool. And now we have some dancers going to the floor, which is nice. And then we go right here into a square, not in a full square, but that was an ugly line. So sorry. So we go back and out and down. That's better. So I like the geometric formation here. And it actually is really cool because you can see some depth on it. And having 4 of your dancers match with her, we love it. And then having 2 on each side, we also love to see that. It's super great. Honestly, can people Easter egg this to be like, this is her with Itsy? I mean, you can always insert that. That's fine. I love it. It looks great. All of my air. And I love my air. Now she's interrupting. Now you could call this as like ticking, but I do think that the distance between each move is a bit large for clocking it as ticking or strobing, but it really just depends on who you ask. For me, I call these more interruptions where she could create tension, but she's stopping it in between to make it its own picture moment, which is cool that all the dancers are doing it. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we finish in a full hinge, and then we drop it to the hips, and we do a little hip scoop out of it. Come on now. And then we go da-da-ba-da. Love it. And then we have different, it looks like she's facing one side. You have these dancers facing over towards that stage right side. They're stage left, right, and left. So I like that the inside and outside are going different directions because it provides balance, but it does make it look more complex where it takes more time for you to process what kind of formation you're dealing with. It's like it's an inverse kind of formation, which is really dope. Cool. And then we hit it, boom, and then the pull of the chest is really nice with the travel up with the arm, and I like the twinkling of it, and then you're letting the hip move and you're letting the chest complement it, and then we go down, down, and we pull it, so notice there's way more angst here than in these ISO'd, interrupted hinge that you saw earlier. It's really fun. And you can see it with her hair, all their hair. You can see it moving. Come on now. And then it goes air, shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. And we let the chin lift up to let that arm go. Come on now. Then we go boom with the hair flip. Love it. And then we end up boom, creating tension nice and low. And we lift. Come on with that. And we present boom with our hands all day, baby. And we accent, come on, with the walks on tempo. We weave it through, and I actually like how she's in the center of that, where they just had to, basically it's two different weaves, where you have half of your columns that happen in front of her, go, 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 you skip her, and then you start it over. Come on now. We walk on tempo until we are off stage. She has her moment. Boom. All of my, Lord help us. Whoo, with the breath, rightfully so. Girl, this was awesome. I had so much fun taking a look at this, and I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown of what makes this look so cool, at least from my perspective. If you want to see more of YEJI, I have covered all of the artists of the months affiliated with YEJI, so YEJI is of course included in that, on top of all the discography units alike. So if you're like, Jess, oh my gosh, there's more, of course there's more. It's all on Patreon. I already released Dala Dala, which was the Patreon vaulted one that got launched because this music video came out. So what happens with any marathon I do, depending on the group, when a group releases a comeback or they have a music video, an official music video, we release out a dance affiliated music video that goes live on YouTube for everybody to enjoy. It also gives you a little teaser and taste of what the bingeable qualities you can experience over on the Patreon side, but you don't have to do it. You can always wait. The goal is for pretty much most, if not all, the dance affiliated stuff to come out in due time. But yeah, you guys know me, I know you. I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.